Welcome back to the Soffy Blues, your source for all things Everton. I'm Ollie Hayes, and today I'm bringing you a reaction to the news that Jake O'Brien has signed for Everton from Lyon. So yeah, let's get straight into it. It's finally been announced by the club after the news broke on Saturday afternoon that he will be heading for a medical from Lyon on Sunday, and the 23-year-old joins for a reported fee of around 18 million euros. 1 year on from joining Lyon from the second tier of Belgium. So yeah, I just wanted to give you my reaction and my thoughts on this signing. I did an initial reaction on Saturday afternoon about Jake O'Brien and the initial news that broke that he will be heading for a medical, but it's finally been announced by the club that he is an Everton player. He will be an Everton player for this season. Just a little bit about O'Brien. He's an Irish international. He's got two caps for the first team. He's got a number of appearances at youth level as well. But on him as a player, he's 6'6". He's an absolute unit. He's got that raw strength, which I think is absolutely crucial for a centre half at this level. We see it so many times where strikers can bully centre halves off the ball, and I think more and more in this day and age that it's crucial for a centre half to have this natural strength. Bit like Jared Branthwaite and James Tarkowski, they're very much a profile of player with that natural strength and that natural ability to bully strikers off the ball. So I think it's definitely crucial in this game. And as I said before, Jake O'Brien does possess that. Being 6'6", he is a big unit, and I've read some reports as well in the last couple of days about him and what kind of player he is. He's relatively decent on the ball, apparently. He's very good with his feet. He can spray passes, long distance, short distance. He is very good with his feet, and I think that complements Jared Branthwaite quite well. I think they are both the type of player that can do that. So that's definitely decent. I think that's one thing that tactically Dyche can look to use in this season in his system. So that's definitely a positive for me. I have read some reports that maybe he doesn't have the recovery pace of say a Jared Branthwaite. I think for me, I would like to see a centre half have a little bit more pace. That's not to say he's not a good player and he can't do well for us, but I would personally like to see a centre half have decent recovery pace because we know how quick teams can counter attack in the Premier League these days. You look at your Manchester Cities, your Liverpools, your Chelseas, they do have lightning quick players in counter attack. So I think to beat these kind of teams, you do have to have a defensive line with decent recovery pace. But that being said, in a system with Jared Branthwaite, I don't see why it wouldn't work. I don't see why a system with Branthwaite and O'Brien and using Branthwaite's recovery pace as the initial line of defence, I think that could definitely work. And then using the natural strength of Jake O'Brien in a system definitely could work. So I don't see why this is too much of an issue. And yeah, as I said before, he is 23, so there is a high ceiling for him. There's definitely room for improvement, and also the biggest thing for me as well in him joining, it offers much needed it offers much needed backup in this position, doesn't it? If we look at our centre half options going into the season, we have Jared Branthwaite, James Tarkowski, Michael Keane, and Mason Holgate, and obviously now Jake O'Brien. So not many people know what the future holds for Mason Holgate. I feel like Michael Keane might stay on for another season, but not many people know where Mason Holgate will be come the end of the window, but it offers much needed recovery. It offers much needed backup in this position, doesn't it? Because as I said before, we do look relatively light in terms of quality at centre half. So it's definitely a positive in that sense. It offers clear improvement in that position. So that's definitely positive. And as I said before, it's a positive transfer in terms it's the right profile. It's the right profile of player. He's 23. He's young. He's got a high ceiling. It is a player that we should be signing. As I've said many times, I've looked at the Jesper Lindstrom signing, for example, and the Iliman and Giants signing. These are two players with a very decent profile. They're still young. They're still at the peak of their career, and they've still got their best years ahead of them. So I think this is really positive. It's the right profile of player. There's a lot of teams in the Premier League sniffing round them. You look at Brentford, you look at West Ham. They're two teams that maybe battling round us in the league next season. So it's definitely positive that we're signing this profile of player, and it's a decent fee as well. 18 million euros in today's market is nothing for a centre half, and nothing for a 23-year-old centre half that's tried and tested in a top five European league. He had a relatively decent season last year for Lyon. I think he scored 5 goals as well, which I think is something that Dyche might look to utilise from set pieces, definitely. So uh, as I said before, in today's market, 18 million euros is not a lot for a decent centre half. You look at teams like Manchester United, they're spending big money on centre halves. I think they spent vast sums on a player from the same league. You look at Lenny Yoro going to Manchester United, they spent vast sums of money on him, bringing him to the Premier League. I think in today's market, bringing a player like Jake O'Brien to the Premier League to Everton, I think is really decent for 18 million euros, and I think we've got a relatively good deal there. But as I said before, yeah, decent potential, decent profile. I'm very happy with this one. I'm glad it's over the line. I'm glad he's finally been announced as an Everton player. And let's just see what this season brings. I think we needed much needed reinforcement in centre half, and we've got it now with Jake O'Brien. So that's definitely a positive. It's good to see this one over the line. But let me know your thoughts, Blues. Let me know what you're thinking ahead of the new season. What you're thinking about our centre back options. Do you think we need to strengthen further? Do you think this signing of Jake O'Brien alongside Michael Keane, James Tarkowski, and Jared Branthwaite as our four options going into the season, do you think that is sufficient depth? Do you think we need a few more bodies through the door in centre half? Let me know your thoughts. Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you're thinking about the kind of player Jake O'Brien is. Are you excited to see him in Everton shirt? But that is all from me today. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll speak to you soon.